Ethan Ward opened his eyes slowly, but everything around him felt wrong. The air was too clean, the light was too bright, and the ceiling above him was not made of metal plates like a human medical tent. It was smooth crystal, glowing gently, like a moon trapped inside stone. For a moment, Ethan didn't move. His mind was confused, floating between pain and memory. The last thing he remembered was the battlefield, smoke, screams, and the little alien girl crying behind a broken wall. He remembered making a choice. He remembered jumping in front of her. Then the explosion. He should have died. He knew that. He felt the shrapnel enter his chest, sharp and hot like burning knives. He remembered falling, his vision fading. He remembered her small voice whispering, "Human, don't die." That last sentence echoed inside him now. But everything else was quiet. Ethan finally sat up. The bed he was lying on was not a bed. It was a floating slab of white crystal, humming like a living thing. Strange circular symbols hovered around him, spinning slowly. They looked like holograms but felt more alive, like glowing insects made of light. "Where am I?" he whispered. His voice sounded small in the wide room. The walls were curved and smooth, glowing with soft blue lines like flowing rivers. The air smelled like flowers he didn't know, and everything hummed with calm energy. Then he heard a whisper, "Not human. Is he awake?" Ethan turned his head sharply. At the far side of the room stood 3 tall alien soldiers. Their skin was silver blue. Their eyes glowed like tiny stars. They wore armor made of something like glass and metal at the same time. One of them stepped forward and said in a deep voice, "Yes, this is the human who saved our princess." Ethan froze. Princess? He only saved a small girl. She looked nothing like royalty. Before he could speak, the doors opened with a soft hiss. More alien guards stepped inside. They were tall, elegant, and silent like statues. Their helmets were shaped like smooth bird faces, and they carried long spear-like weapons that floated in their hands without touching them. Ethan swallowed hard. His heart beat fast. His muscles felt weak. He didn't know if he was safe or a prisoner. One of the guards pointed at Ethan and whispered to the others, "How is he alive? Humans cannot survive that kind of blast." Another answered, "The princess used the royal energy on him. She must have chosen him for a reason." Ethan's breath caught. "She healed me? But why?" He opened his mouth to ask questions, but the guards suddenly snapped to attention. They raised their staffs, bowed their heads, and stepped aside. Someone important was coming. The doors opened again, and soft golden light filled the chamber. A young alien girl walked in slowly. She was the same girl he saved, but not the same at all. Before, she was small, scared, and covered in dust and smoke. Now she wore a flowing white and blue robe that glowed like water. Golden symbols floated around her head like a crown. Her eyes were bright teal, shining with something ancient and powerful. She looked at Ethan with gentle sadness. Ethan recognized her immediately. "Lyra," he whispered. The girl nodded. Her voice was soft but carried across the whole room. "You came back to life, Ethan Ward. I am glad." He stared at her, confused and overwhelmed. "You're a princess?" The alien guards gasped. Apparently, humans were not supposed to speak so directly. But Lyra only smiled, her small hands folded in front of her. "Yes," she said quietly. "I did not tell you on the battlefield. If the attackers knew who I was, you would have been killed instantly." Ethan blinked. He felt like someone put a heavy stone on his chest. "Why did you heal me?" he asked. Lyra stepped closer and touched the floating symbols around Ethan. They moved like birds around her. "Fingers, because you saved my life," she whispered. "You jumped in front of the bomb. No one in my kingdom would have done that. Not even my own guards." Ethan clenched his jaw. He looked away, embarrassed. "I didn't know who you were. I just saw a child who needed help." Lyra smiled softly. That is why I saved you. Not because you protected a princess, but because you protected a girl you didn't even know. She turned to the guards and spoke in a clear voice. No one harms him. No one touches him. He is under my protection. The guards bowed instantly. Ethan watched in shock. Why would she protect a human soldier? Why did she put so much trust in him? Lyra moved closer until she stood right in front of him. She lowered her voice, and only Ethan heard her last words. The attack was not random, Ethan. It was meant to kill me. And the people who sent that bomb, they will come again. Ethan's heart sank. Why are they after you? He whispered. Lyra's eyes flickered with fear. Because if I die, my whole world dies with me. Ethan felt a cold shiver go down his spine. He realized something horrifying. He did not just save a girl. He did not just save a princess. He saved the future of an entire alien species, and now he was in the middle of their war. Ethan Ward still sat on the floating crystal bed, trying to understand everything. His chest felt tight, but not from pain, more from the shock of what Lyra had just told him. If she dies, her whole world dies? What did that even mean? But before Ethan could ask more, the glowing symbols around him dimmed and the doors slid open again. This time, the air felt heavier. Even the guards straightened their backs like they were nervous. A group of tall alien elders entered the room. Their robes were deep blue, decorated with long golden threads that shimmered like stars. Their faces were calm, but their eyes revealed something cold. Something calculating. Ethan immediately felt small under their stare. The tallest elder stepped forward, his long silver hair floating slightly as if underwater. So this is the human, he said. Ethan didn't like how he said it, like he was talking about an animal in a cage. Lyra quickly moved and stood between Ethan and the elders, blocking their view of him. Please, she said firmly. He is injured and still recovering. The elder ignored her. His eyes locked onto Ethan. Tell me, human, why did you protect our princess? Ethan frowned. The explosion was going to hit her. She was just a child. What else was I supposed to do? The elders whispered among themselves. One of them spoke with a dry voice. Humans do not risk their lives for other species without gaining something. This one must want a reward. Ethan felt anger rise in his chest. I didn't ask for anything, he said sharply. I didn't even know she was royalty. The elders stared, surprised by his tone. Even the guards shifted uncomfortably, but Lyra smiled. Ethan is not like the others, she said softly. The elders didn't like that. Their expressions hardened. Princess, the tall elder said, you must not trust him so quickly. The inner council worries that this human might be dangerous. Lyra lifted her chin. He saved me. That is enough. The elder's eyes narrowed. Saving you changed him. Ethan blinked. Changed me? What does that mean? The elder raised a long finger and pointed at Ethan's chest. A small beam of light projected from his ring, scanning Ethan's body. A glowing image appeared in the air. Ethan's body from the inside. But something was wrong. His chest was pulsing with blue light, not human light. Ethan froze. Lyra bit her lip. The elder spoke like he was announcing a punishment. Human, the princess used a forbidden's power to heal you. Her royal essence mixed with your blood. Ethan felt his heart drop. Is that bad? Nobody answered. The silence was worse. Finally, Lyra whispered. It means you are connected to me now. Physically, energy woven. If you die, I suffer. If you feel pain, I feel it too. Ethan stared at her in horror. That's impossible. But the glowing scan didn't lie. The elder continued. Our laws forbid sharing royal essence with off-worlders. Your existence now breaks ancient rules. The guards around the room stiffened. Ethan could feel the danger building. "So what happens now?" he asked quietly. The soft hum in the room faded. Then the elder answered, "The council must decide if you are allowed to live." Ethan's stomach twisted. Lyra immediately stepped in front of him. "No," she shouted. "He did nothing wrong. It was my choice." But the elder didn't care. "Your emotions have clouded your judgment, princess. You are too young to understand the consequences." Lyra's hands trembled, but she didn't step aside. Ethan felt a strange mix of guilt and confusion. He didn't want Lyra in danger because of him. He didn't understand their rules, their power, their politics. But he understood fear in her eyes. He couldn't let her face this alone. "Princess," he whispered to her, "if I'm causing trouble, maybe I should." Lyra spun around sharply, her eyes blazing. "Do not say you should leave," she snapped. "You saved my life, you saved my future, you saved my people. And now I will save you." Ethan opened his mouth, but she stepped closer until she was only inches from him. Her voice dropped to a whisper only he could hear. "You don't know what you stepped into, Ethan. The attack. It wasn't done by outsiders. It came from inside the palace." Ethan felt chills run down his spine. "Someone here wants you dead?" She nodded slowly. "And they want me dead too." Ethan stared at her, shocked. Before he could speak, the entire room shook. A loud alarm blared. Red lights flashed. The walls vibrated like thunder rolling through the palace. The guards instantly raised their weapons. The elders backed away in fear. Another explosion sounded, somewhere deep inside the building. Lyra grabbed Ethan's hand. Her grip was cold and shaking. "They found me," she whispered in terror. "The traitors are here." Ethan's heart pounded. As the doors burst open and a group of masked attackers stormed in, their weapons glowing with deadly red energy, Lyra shouted, "Guard him! He is linked to me. If he dies, I die too." The traitors hesitated for a moment. Just one moment. But that was enough. Ethan jumped off the crystal bed, adrenaline rushing through his veins. He didn't have a weapon. He didn't know their technology. He didn't even know how long his body would last after the healing. But he knew one simple thing. He wasn't letting anyone hurt her. Not again. The attackers stormed into the healing chamber with silent speed. Their faces hidden behind black helmets shaped like sharp animal skulls. Their weapons glowed with angry red light that crackled like fire trapped in glass. Ethan didn't know their weapons, their armor, or their fighting style. But he didn't need to. He recognized killers when he saw them. The first masked soldier pointed his weapon at Lyra. "Princess Lyra, step away from the human." Ethan moved in front of her without thinking. It was pure instinct. The attackers paused, clearly surprised a human would stand in their way. One of them muttered, "How is he even standing? He took full shrapnel in his heart." Another replied, "Because the princess used royal essence on him." Foolish child. Their words made Ethan's jaw tighten. They spoke about Lyra like she was a mistake, like she wasn't worth protecting. Ethan clenched his fists. He didn't have a weapon, but he had something they didn't: human stubbornness. Lyra tugged his arm. "Ethan, don't." But he stepped forward anyway. "I don't know what your fight is," Ethan said loudly. "But you're not laying a finger on her." The traitor leader tilted his head. "This human is a problem." Ethan felt the tension in the room tighten like a rope. The attackers moved fast. Too fast for a normal human, but something strange happened. Ethan moved fast too. Faster than he ever had in his life. He dodged the swing of a glowing blade that sliced the air where his face had been a second earlier. He grabbed a piece of broken crystal from the floor, spun with surprising balance, and slammed it against the attacker's armored knee. A metallic crack echoed. The alien fell with a cry of pain. Ethan froze, shocked. He shouldn't be able to do that. He had no weapon. His body should be weak. He should be dying from shrapnel wounds. Lyra's eyes widened. "Ethan, The royal essence, it's boosting your strength. The traitor leader growled. He must be killed first. Before Ethan could react, 3 attackers lunged at him at once. It should have been impossible to survive. But the healing pod had changed him in ways he didn't understand. Ethan moved like he was seeing everything a moment before it happened. He ducked under a strike, grabbed a weapon from a fallen guard, and blocked. A glowing blade with a spark of blue energy. The aliens around him gasped. Humans couldn't do that. Even Lyra stared in disbelief. A guard whispered, "He fights like one of us." Another guard replied, "No, he fights like something new." The traitors, however, didn't back down. "Capture the princess." The leader shouted. The guards formed a circle around Lyra, but the traitors were trained assassins. They slipped through gaps like shadows and forced the royal soldiers back. Ethan saw one attacker getting close to Lyra's side. He ran toward her, but a blast from behind hit him in the back. Ethan fell forward, pain burning through him. Lyra cried out, "No, Ethan!" She raised her hand, and a burst of blue light exploded from her palm, knocking the attacker across the room. The guards gasped again. The princess rarely used her power. Using it inside the palace was forbidden. Lyra knelt beside Ethan, her hands shaking. "You're hurt. This is my fault. They want me, not you." Ethan forced himself up, ignoring the pain. "No," he said with clenched teeth. "If they get you, this world breaks. And I won't let that happen." Lyra looked at him with wide, emotional eyes. "You're just a human," she whispered. Ethan smirked weakly. "Bad luck for them, then." She almost laughed through her fear. But there was no time for emotion. The traitor leader ordered, "Enough, kill the human. Capture the princess." The guards tried to protect Ethan, but the attackers moved with renewed fury, pushing them aside. Suddenly, more heavy footsteps echoed down the hall. Dozens of palace guards stormed in. Their armor glowed bright blue, and their weapons hummed. With fierce energy, they surrounded the traitors in a tight circle. The traitor leader hissed, "We failed today. But not forever." He tapped a device on his wrist. A blinding flash filled the room. When the light faded, the traitors were gone. Teleport. The guards chased but found nothing. Lyra stood frozen, trembling. The elders returned moments later. Furious, the tall elder pointed at Ethan, his face twisting with anger. "This is what we feared," he shouted. "The human's presence is already causing disaster." Ethan narrowed his eyes. "Didn't cause anything. Your people attacked her. And I protected her, again." The elder's face darkened. "You are dangerous. The bond you share with the princess breaks laws thousands of years old. You must be removed from the palace immediately." Lyra stepped in front of Ethan once more. "If he leaves, I leave." Everyone in the room froze. A princess threatening to abandon the palace? The elder's voice cracked with shock. "Princess, you would betray your throne for a stranger?" Lyra looked at Ethan. Her voice was steady, clear, and full of unexpected loyalty. "He is not a stranger. He is the reason I am still alive. He is the reason you still have a future." The elders whispered urgently among themselves. Ethan suddenly felt the weight of every eye in the room on him. He wasn't supposed to be important. He was just a soldier. A man from a small planet. A human in the wrong place at the wrong time. But now, in this alien world, he had become something dangerous. Something powerful. Something political. The elder glared at him. "Human ward, you are no longer just a visitor. You are now a threat, a symbol, and a problem we cannot ignore." Ethan exhaled slowly. He didn't know what was coming next. But he knew one thing. This wasn't just about saving Lyra anymore. This was about surviving a world that didn't want him in it. The palace walls still vibrated from the recent attack. Guards rushed through every corridor, alarms flashed red, and the air smelled like burned metal. Ethan Ward walked beside Lyra and her royal guards as they moved deeper into the palace, away from the chaos. He still felt the energy of the fight inside his muscles. His hands trembled not from fear, but from the strange power running through his body. Lyra kept glancing at him with worry. "Ethan, your heart rate is unstable," she whispered. "My heart rate was unstable the moment I woke up in this alien hospital," he muttered. One guard shot him a warning look, but Lyra ignored it. She touched a glowing crystal on the wall. A hidden door slid open, revealing a narrow hallway lit with soft blue light. "This way," she said. "Where we're going, no one should know." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Even your own people?" Lyra hesitated. "Yes, especially them." That answer hit Ethan hard. Just how deep did this conspiracy go? The secret hall. As they walked, Ethan noticed the walls changing. They shifted from smooth marble-like stone to something darker. Veins of glowing blue energy pulsed through strange metal patterns. "What is this place?" Ethan asked. Lyra's voice dropped. "This is the core path. Only the royal family is allowed here. So why bring me?" "Because you're not safe anywhere else." Ethan felt a strange chill run through his spine. Lyra wasn't afraid for herself, she was afraid for him. That bothered him more than he expected. Suddenly, the palace lights flickered, the ground trembled. Ethan instinctively moved in front of Lyra as a blast shook the corridor. Dust fell from the ceiling. A guard spoke into his wrist device. "They're attacking the inner levels." Another guard shouted. "But how? Only high-ranking officers know the access paths." Lyra's eyes widened. "It's worse than I feared. Someone inside the council wants us dead." Ethan gritted his teeth. "So your enemies aren't outsiders, they're your own people." The guards exchanged nervous looks. Lyra nodded slowly, her voice filled with sadness. "Yes, and they're getting closer." The first trap they continued deeper until the hallway suddenly erupted with a sharp metallic click. Ethan grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her back. "Everyone stop." The guards froze, confused. Ethan moved slowly, scanning the floor. A thin line of red energy shimmered across the tiles. A tripwire. Lyra gasped softly. "Only one unit in the entire palace uses traps like these." Ethan narrowed his eyes. "Assassins?" "No," Lyra whispered. "The Royal Guard commanders, the highest-ranking security officers." Ethan cursed under his breath. "So your own elite soldiers are trying to kill you?" Before anyone could answer, the tiles ahead exploded upward as hidden turrets emerged from the ground, firing deadly beams of red light. The guards lifted their shields. Energy sparks flew everywhere. Ethan pulled Lyra behind a pillar as a beam sliced through the air, where her head had been a second earlier. Lyra's breath shook. "They're closing in. Someone wants to finish this quickly." Ethan leaned out, analyzing the firing pattern. "How do we disable the turrets?" "You can't," Lyra said. "They only respond to commander-level authority." Ethan smirked. "Good thing I never follow rules." He waited for the pattern, counted the firing gaps, then sprinted forward. "Ethan, no." He dove under a beam, rolled across the floor, grabbed a fallen guard's spear, and slammed it into the side panel of the nearest turret. Electric sparks burst. The turret malfunctioned and shot upward, blasting the ceiling. The collapse destroyed the other two turrets. Silence returned, thick and heavy. Ethan stood in the dust, coughing. One of the guards whispered, "He fights like a royal knight." Another muttered, "No, he fights like something else entirely." Lyra ran to him. "You could have died." Ethan smiled tiredly. "I told you, bad luck for them." She didn't laugh this time. Her eyes were wet, not from fear of the attack, but fear of losing him. The hidden MSSH. They finally reached a round chamber with a glowing orb floating in the center. It pulsed with deep blue light, like a beating heart. "This," Lyra said softly, is the memory core. It stores every secret the royal family holds. Ethan felt the hairs on his arms rise. The room felt ancient, sacred, powerful. Lyra stepped toward the orb and touched it gently. Images flickered around them, floating holograms of past kings, wars, and ancient records. Finally, a new image appeared, a group of masked commanders standing around a holographic map of the palace. And at the center, a hologram of Lyra. Marked for termination. Ethan clenched his fists. The truth hit him like a punch. The attack wasn't random. The traitors weren't desperate rebels. The attack was planned by the highest ranks of her own palace. Why? Ethan asked quietly. Lyra lowered her head. Because I want peace with humans, and they want war. Ethan froze. So they want to kill you? To start a war with my people? Yes, Lyra whispered. Your death and mine would ignite a conflict our worlds cannot survive. Ethan took a slow breath. This isn't just your fight anymore. Lyra looked at him with soft eyes. No, she said. It is our fight now. The shadow in the CORE before Ethan could speak. The memory core flickered again. A new image appeared. A tall alien figure, hidden under a hood. His voice was distorted. He spoke only one line. Bring me the princess. And the human who carries her power. Ethan felt his stomach twist. Lyra stepped back, terrified. That voice, she whispered. That is the Supreme Commander. He controls our entire military. Ethan clenched his jaw. So the most powerful man in your world wants us dead. The lights flickered again. And then the worst part. The hooded figure added one more sentence. And do not damage the human. His body contains what we need. Ethan's blood ran cold. They don't want to kill you, Lyra whispered. They want to use you. Ethan stared at the glowing orb, a storm building inside him. They had just uncovered a secret more deadly than the attack, and it was only the beginning. Glowing memory core dimmed slowly, leaving the chamber in an eerie silence. The last words of the hooded commander still echoed inside Ethan's mind. Do not damage the human. His body contains what we need. Ethan felt cold. Not just physically, something inside him was freezing. Lyra stood beside him, her hands trembling, her face pale. He knows, she whispered. He knows our bond is complete. Ethan took a step back. Your commander. He wants something inside me. Something from your royal essence? Lyra slowly nodded. The royal essence carries power, life, influence. A bond that only the royal family controls. If someone captured you, they could extract it. Ethan stared at her, shocked. Extract it? How? She lowered her eyes. You don't want to know. That was enough to tell Ethan the truth. He realized something terrifying. Being bonded to her wasn't only dangerous, it made him valuable. Too valuable, suddenly. He wasn't just a problem. He was a target. The weight of Tarut, the guards in the room, shifted nervously, talking among themselves. Everything felt unstable, like one wrong move could start a war. Ethan forced himself to speak. So let me get this straight. The Supreme Commander wants you dead. And he wants me alive, but only as a tool. Lyra's voice cracked. They want to drain the essence from your body and use it to control the throne. Ethan went still. So they want to replace you, with me powering their rule? Yes. Ethan felt sick. He wasn't born for politics. He wasn't born for power. He was just a soldier who made one good decision on a battlefield. And now, that decision had chained him to a world full of lies and danger. He took a slow breath. Lyra, why didn't you tell me everything from the start? Lyra closed her eyes. I didn't want to scare you. You risked your life for me without knowing who I was, without asking for anything. I didn't want your bravery to turn into fear. Ethan stared at her, that it wasn't fear inside him, that it was something heavier, responsibility. The council's DCI cell in the chamber doors slid open, again revealing the royal elders. Their expressions were tight, angry, and afraid. The tall elder stepped forward, his voice cold. "Princess Lyra, you have broken ancient law. You have shared power with a human. You brought danger to our palace. You must surrender yourself." Lyra stood tall, refusing to bow. "I will not surrender." The elder turned to Ethan, "Human ward, your existence here is a threat. The commander will use our hesitation to destroy us." Ethan shot back, "I didn't ask to be bonded to your princess. But if she dies, all of you fall. And if I die, she dies too. So maybe you should worry less about blaming me and more about protecting her." The guards around the elder stiffened, shocked he even spoke that boldly. But the elder stepped closer. "Human, do you understand what your body now contains? The royal essence is not just energy. It carries the memory of rulers, the command of armies, the authority of nations. You can influence our systems, even without knowing it." Ethan froze. "How would I do that? You already are." The elder pointed at the palace lights. Half of them flickered blue in rhythm. With Ethan's heartbeat, Lyra gasped, "Ethan, you're sinking with the palace core." Ethan stared at the lights, horrified. How is that even possible?" The elder's voice dropped. "Because the princess gave you the one thing that should never pass to another species. The line of inheritance." The room fell silent. Ethan's mind went blank. "What does that mean?" Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "It means," she whispered, "if I die, the system will choose you as the next ruler." Ethan stumbled backward. No, that's insane. I'm human. I don't belong here." The elder nodded. "Exactly. The Supreme Commander knows you would never want the throne. So he plans to take that power from your body, by force." Ethan clenched his fists. "So this entire attack, the bombs, the traitors, everything, it's all to gain power?" "Yes," Lyra whispered, her voice shaking. "All of it." Ethan felt anger rise inside him, a deep, burning anger he hadn't felt since he watched soldiers die beside him on Earth. "This is not a political game. They're trying to kill you," he snapped. "And you," Lyra said quietly. The hidden wounded guard suddenly stepped forward. "Princess Lyra, are you hurt?" She shook her head, but her hands were trembling. Ethan noticed something strange. Her blue markings were flickering. "Lyra, what's happening to your skin?" he asked. She backed away slightly. "It's nothing." But Ethan moved faster and grabbed her wrist gently. Her markings were dimming. The royal glow was fading. "Lyra, tell me." Tears filled her eyes. "When you were injured, the only way to save you was to give you most of my essence, more than I should have." Ethan's heart dropped. "How much did you give me?" she whispered. "Almost everything." The guards gasped. The elders looked horrified. The elder spoke with a trembling voice. "Princess, without your full essence, your life is linked to his. Your strength is linked to his. If he falls, you fall. If he weakens, you weaken." Lyra looked away. No." Ethan stepped closer, shaking his head. No, this is my fault." "No," she said firmly. "It was my choice." The worst TRU'd each before Ethan could respond. The memory core flickered again, showing an encrypted message. The hooded commander appeared once more. Only one line played. "Begin Phase 2. Capture the human. Leave the princess alive only if needed." Ethan stared at the message. His stomach tightened. Lyra whispered, "They don't want to kill you immediately. They want your essence first." Ethan turned toward her. "And after that?" Lyra swallowed hard. "They will kill you to take the rest." Ethan looked around the chamber, realizing the whole palace was now a battlefield. The truth was clear. He wasn't just an outsider anymore. He wasn't just a soldier who saved a girl. He was the center of a war. A war he never asked for, but a war he could no longer escape. The palace alarms screamed louder than ever. Red sirens flashed along the walls, turning the marble corridors into rivers of shifting light. Every guard ran through the halls. With panic in their eyes, Ethan felt the tension twisting inside his chest like a tight knot. The message from the Supreme Commander repeated in his head. Capture the human. Leave the princess alive only if needed. They were no longer hiding. They were coming. Right now. Lyra grabbed Ethan's hand and pulled him toward the exit of the memory core chamber. We have to move, she said, her voice shaking but strong. Where? Ethan asked. To the High Throne Hall. It's the only place with strong shields. If we reach it, the commander can't take you. Ethan frowned. And what about saving you? That's what matters. Lyra stopped. She looked up at him with soft shimmering eyes. My life already belongs to you, she whispered. Our bond makes it so. Ethan swallowed hard. No, he said. Nobody owns your life, not even me. For a moment, Lyra's eyes softened. But then boom. The entire palace shook. A deep explosion echoed from the upper floors. Dust fell from the ceiling. The guards turned pale. They've breached the outer shield. One guard shouted. Ethan felt adrenaline rise inside him. Lyra, run, now. But she didn't run. Instead, she stepped forward and faced the guards. Send a distress signal to the royal fleet. I want the palace locked down. No one gets in or out. The guards bowed and moved. The elder, however, stepped in front of Ethan. Blocking him, his voice trembled with warning. Human, you must understand something. If the commander captures you, he will drain every royal drop from your body. And once he gains that power, he will destroy this world. Ethan didn't even flinch. Then he won't capture me. Another explosion shook the ground. The lights flickered. The elder spoke again. It is not brave to face an army barehanded. Ethan clenched his fists. I'm not barehanded. I've got something stronger than your army. And what is that? The elder asked. Ethan looked at Lyra, their eyes locking. Something worth fighting for. The elder went silent. The assault begins us. The hallway ahead suddenly erupted in violent light as dozens of armored soldiers stormed in. Their armor was black with red streaks. Elite assassins, loyal to the Supreme Commander. The guards raised their shields. Protect the princess. One shouted, capture the human. The attackers roared back. Ethan felt anger burn inside him. He had been hunted, blamed, and nearly killed, all because he did the right thing. He was done running when the first wave of traitors attacked. Ethan didn't wait. He charged. Lyra screamed, Ethan, stop. But he didn't. He met the attackers head on. They swung energy blades at him, but he moved with a speed he didn't know he had. His body reacted like it remembered, a dance he had never learned. He ducked under a strike, grabbed a weapon from an assassin's hand, spun around, and slammed it into another soldier's chest, sending him flying into a wall. Even the guards froze. Amazed, a guard whispered, he's fighting like he's one of us. No, another guard said in awe. He fights like a king. But the traitors kept coming. Ethan saw 3 assassins rushing toward Lyra. He didn't think. He reacted. He leaped forward, blocking all 3 blades with a single counterstrike. Blue sparks burst around him, glowing like lightning. The bond was awakening again. The assassins looked at Ethan like he was a monster. What sort of human is this? One muttered. Lyra yelled from behind, don't hurt him, he carries my energy. Their eyes widened. So the rumors were true, the leader growled. The princes gave everything to him. Ethan smirked. Sorry to disappoint you. He grabbed the leader by his chest plate. But you're not getting any of it. He slammed the soldier into the wall so hard it cracked. But this was only the first wave. The commander arrives. The Hallway suddenly went silent. Cold. Heavy. Like a shadow had entered the air. Then he stepped forward. Tall, armored in dark silver, a long cloak of red, his face hidden beneath a mask shaped like a hawk. The Supreme Commander. Every guard in the room went still, trembling. Lyra stepped back, fear in her eyes. Ethan stared at him. So you're the one hunting us? The commander tilted his head. And you, he said in a calm, deep voice, are the human who carries the princess's power. Ethan stepped in front of Lyra. You're not touching her. You misunderstand, the commander said. I do not need the princess. I only need you. Ethan clenched his fists. Over my dead body. That is the plan, the commander replied. He raised his hand. A shockwave of red energy exploded outward. Ethan grabbed Lyra and shielded her with his body as the blast threw everyone else to the floor. Even armored guards crashed into the walls. The commander lowered his hand. You are strong, human. The essence inside you magnifies your strength. But you cannot win. Ethan stood, breathing hard. Maybe not. But I'm not backing down. The commander stepped forward. Then you will die protecting her. Just like your kind always dies protecting what they love. Ethan froze. Love? Before he could respond, the commander lunged. They clashed in an explosion of energy. Blue versus red. Bond versus corruption. Every strike from Ethan created sparks of blue light that shook the air. Every counter from the commander cracked the marble floors. Lyra watched with tears in her eyes. Their bond glowed between them like a fragile thread. Ethan, she whispered. But Ethan didn't hear. He was fighting for her life, for her future, and maybe for something deeper. The near E&D, the commander struck Ethan across the chest, sending him flying back. Lyra screamed, Ethan. He hit the ground hard. Pain exploded through his body. His vision blurred. The commander walked toward him slowly. You are not worthy of the essence you carry. I will cut it out myself. He lifted his blade. Lyra ran in front of Ethan, spreading her arms. No, the commander froze. Move aside, princess. I will not, she cried. You hurt him. You hurt me. You kill him. You kill your future queen. The commander lowered his blade slightly. Then so be it. He raised his weapon again, but Ethan grabbed his arm. The blue glow around Ethan intensified, burning like fire. And for the first time, the commander stepped back. You, how are you? Ethan stood tall, shaking but unbroken. The bond works both ways. You hurt her. I get stronger. The commander hesitated. Just 1 second. But 1 second changed everything. Ethan roared and charged with everything he had. The floor cracked under his feet. The air exploded with blue light. His fist slammed into the commander's chestplate, and the commander was thrown across the hall like a broken weapon. Silence. Heavy, absolute. Lyra stared at Ethan, tears streaming. You saved me again. Ethan turned toward her. Always save you. And then, the palace shook again. A deeper alarm blared. This was not over. It was only the beginning of the true war. The Supreme Commander slid across the shattered marble floor, sparks of red energy flickering from his armor. Ethan stood in front of Lyra, breathing heavily, fists tight, muscles shaking from the enormous power he had just released. The entire palace hall lay in ruins, broken pillars, cracked walls, fallen guards. Blue dust filled the air like drifting stars. For a few seconds, everything was silent. Ethan didn't trust the silence. He stared at the commander's motionless body. Is it over? He asked breathlessly. Lyra didn't answer at first. She stepped forward carefully, her gaze locked on the fallen enemy. No, she whispered. He's not dead. As if her words woke him, the commander's mask sparked then. His head lifted slowly. His glowing red eyes stared at Ethan with hatred so deep it felt ancient. But he didn't stand. He only spoke. his voice cold and broken. You cannot run from destiny, human. The royal essence inside you. It does not belong to you. Ethan didn't move, and you don't get to decide who deserves it. The commander let out a chilling laugh, slow, hollow, metallic. You think this is victory? I am not the only one who knows the truth. The council, the generals, the hidden factions, all of them felt the energy you released today. Lyra's eyes widened. He's right, she whispered. They felt the surge of royal essence through the palace's core systems. They know someone else carries my power. The commander's voice grew weaker, but darker. War is coming, not because of me, but because of you. His armor flickered, and then the commander vanished in a flash of red. Energy. Not dead. Escaped. Ethan cursed under his breath. We should have finished him. Lyra shook her head, tears gathering. No. Killing him would have broken the old treaties. His death would have started a civil war inside my empire, and you would be blamed. Ethan understood. They hadn't won a victory. They had won a moment of survival. Nothing more. The after-REM guards arrived slowly, limping, bleeding, carrying wounded soldiers. The elders came in behind them, their robes torn, faces pale with shock. Every pair of eyes locked onto Ethan. Some stared with fear, some with awe, some with deep hatred. The tall elder stepped forward, voice trembling. Human ward, you should not be alive. A normal human cannot fight against a supreme commander. Ethan didn't know how to answer. He didn't know how he survived either. Lyra spoke before he could. Ethan survived because he carries my essence, she said firmly. And he carries it because he saved my life, twice. The elder looked at Lyra with a mixture of fear and respect. Princess, you do not understand what you have done. I understand perfectly, she replied. This human saved me, while our own commanders tried to kill me. Her voice echoed through the hall like a sword, slicing the air. The guards bowed their heads. The elders lowered their eyes, because she was right. The DCLARATEO and Lyra took Ethan's hand and walked to the center of the ruined hall. A glowing crest appeared under them, an ancient royal symbol, activated only by the presence of the royal bloodline. But something unbelievable happened. The crest responded not just to Lyra. It responded to Ethan. Blue light rose around him like a pillar. The elders gasped. The bond is complete. One cried, he carries her full lineage. Another shouted in shock. Lyra squeezed Ethan's hand. This is why they want you. This is why you're in danger. Because you can activate things only royalty can. Ethan's voice shook. I never wanted this. I know, she said softly. But the essence chose you. And I can never take it back. Suddenly, her legs weakened. She stumbled forward. Ethan caught her immediately. Lyra, what's wrong? She clutched her chest, glowing patterns flickering on her skin. My essence. I gave too much. I am still alive because our bond keeps me alive. But I am weaker than before. Ethan felt panic rise through him. You're fading because of me. No, she whispered. I'm alive because of you. The elder stepped closer, voice low. Princess. Lyra, you must rest. Your life force is unstable. Ethan glared at him. You're not taking her anywhere without me. Lyra tightened her grip on his arm. He stays with me. Always. The elder looked conflicted, but then he bowed. As you wish, princess. The new Ephraira turned to Ethan. What the commander said, it's true. Every powerful faction in my world now knows someone else holds the royal essence. Ethan clenched his jaw. So more enemies are coming. Yes, she whispered.